there's something I want you to do today. Today is the anniversary of George Washington's farewell address being released. Today is the day that George Washington said, okay, enough is enough. And he left us with really important instructions. I would like you to read the farewell address today. You can find it online. It's called the Information Superhighway. Find his farewell address and read it. And be amazed at how much we have forgotten what we were supposed to do. The reason why I bring this up is I'm writing a new book about George Washington. I was on the plane doing the final edits of it this weekend. And I'm just stunned. Every single time I go back into history and I look at these founders and their words, how they are alive all the time. All the time. Shay's Rebellion. You guys know what Shay's Rebellion was? Shay's Rebellion is after the war, and it's after the Revolutionary War, before the Constitution. They're having a problem. The Articles of Confederation aren't holding up, and the whole thing is falling apart. And one of the reasons why it's falling apart is because the dollar is worthless. The money up in Massachusetts is absolutely worthless. Now, I want you to listen to this story in the context of today's world, in the context of what we're battling now. Revolutionary War is over. All the farmers, all the business people are paying their obligations, their debt. They're paying for everything in these, new Massachusetts colonies' money. It's not worth anything. The creditors are telling the farmers, you got to pay us in gold or silver. And they're like, well, we don't have gold or silver. We have this worthless currency. And they're like, well, sorry. So the creditors take the farmers to court in Massachusetts. The farmers are holding the Massachusetts currency. And they're saying, wait a minute, we just want to pay in the state's currency. Creditors are saying it's worthless. So the state tells the creditors they're right and takes their land and gives it to the creditors because they can't pay in anything but this useless currency. Okay, this is when a guy named Shay stands up and says, this is insane. And he takes over the armory, and they start an armed insurrection. Now, you think that they have a good point, right? You think they have a good point. Well, Washington is out, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm done. I've already done my tour of service. But Henry Knox writes to George Washington and says, George, you have to hear their creed. Listen to the creed of Shay's Rebellion. Listen to this creed and tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. Quote, the property of the United States has been protected from confiscations of the British by joint assertions of all, and therefore ought to be the common property of all, and that the attempts in opposition to this creed, if you attempt opposition, you are an enemy to equity and justice, and ought to be swept from the face of the earth. So in other words, hey, we all fought together. We're all in this together. You can't take this land because we all fought for it, so it should be all of our land. It should be the people's land. You can't do that. And if you disagree, well, you're an enemy of equity and justice, and you ought to be killed. George Washington gets involved. He writes back immediately, and I'm just quoting this one line from him. It is hardly to be imagined that the great body of people can be so enveloped in darkness or so short-sighted as not see the rays of a distant sun through this mist of intoxication and folly. Gang, we are back to 1786. We are back at Shay's Rebellion. When you hear the beginning of it, you're like, well, yeah, that's crazy. And that's what's happening. Well, yeah, people should pay their fair share. Well, you can't take that. I mean, how come they get it and I don't? Yeah, it sounds good, doesn't it? until you hear that the people are saying it's the people's property. Listen to the words of Washington. He will again provide the answer. It'll come. We're a crisis away from that.